Good morning, my dear students. This is Neeraj Kumar, your English teacher. Today I am here to explain to you chapter number 6 from our second book, class 9th. The chapter is Weathering the Storm in Ersama. That means there had been very terrible, very horrendous storm that devastated everything in Ersama. So, my dear students, let us know what actually happened there and how this terrible storm devastated animals and human beings. Let us know about it. The cyclone that hit Odisha in October 1999 killed thousands of people and devastated hundreds of villages. Long back in October 1999, there had been very horrendous storm, very terrible storm that killed thousands of people and devastated hundreds of villages there. For 2 dreadful nights, Prashant, a young man, was marooned on the roof of a house. There had been a character named Prashant and he was very young, and he had to take shelter on the roof of a house, and it was for 2 dreadful nights. On the 3rd day, he decided to go to his village. Did he find his family? Now, when it was 3rd day, when he decided to reach his village anyhow, at any time. So, my dear students, now let us know with the help of this story, did he succeed in reaching his village or not? So let's get continued. On 27 October 1999, 7 years after his mother's death, Prashant had gone to the block headquarters of Ersama, a small town in coastal Odisha. So it was on 27 October 1999, and it had been 7 years since Prashant's mother got dead. So after 7 years, Prashant had chance to go somewhere. So he decided to reach one of his friend's house to stay with him, to spend some time with him. So he went there, and it was block headquarters of Ersama, a very small town in coastal Odisha. Some 18 kilometers from his village, to spend the day with a friend in, right? Why did he go there? As he wanted to spend some time with his friend. All right, and it was around 18 kilometers far from his village. I hope you understand. Let us move ahead. In the evening, a dark and menacing storm quickly gathered. It was around evening when a very dark and devastating storm took place. Winds beat against the houses with a speed and fury that Prashant had never witnessed before. It was such a terrible experience. It was such a horrendous sight that Prashant didn't ever see in his throughout of the life. Heavy and incessant rain filled the darkness. Ancient trees were uprooted and crashed to the earth. It was such a horrible experience for Prashant that he was seeing. There was very heavy and continued rain that filled the darkness, means it was darkness all around. Nothing could be seen that very time. The trees that were very ancient were uprooted because of that devastating storm and crashed to the earth. That means fallen down to the earth. Now let us move ahead, my dear students. I hope you understand it. Screams rent the air as people and houses were swiftly washed away. So it was it was too much horrible that you know that uh, all around the village there had been screams, right? And as it was washing away the houses and the people with itself, the angry voters spilled into his friend's house neck deep. Very dangerous water that very time uh, that was filling into the house of his friend. It kept on filling and reaches up to the neck. I hope you understand, my dear students. The building was a brick and mortar and was strong enough to survive the devastation of the winds. Velocity of 350 km per hour. As there was the speed of wind, it was 350 km per hour. It was too much strong, and the house was made of brick, right? And that was strong enough to survive, to face that devastating wind. But the cold terror of the family grew. With the crashing of trees that had got uprooted and fallen on their house, right? But falling of the trees did not stop. Trees kept on falling down on people's houses. And having seen such a terrible experience, having seen such a terrible sight, they were getting frightened more and more. They were getting too much scared after seeing such a horrible sight all around them. Trees were getting uprooted from the earth and fallen down their houses. Sometime in the middle of the night, damaging its roof and walls. Even even falling of the trees devastated their roofs and walls. Let us continue. The crazed destruction wrought by the cyclone, and the surge of the ocean continued for the next 36 hours. And that very devastating experience, that very terrible, incident, I would say, that captain, you know, getting ahead, moved on for the next 36 hours. That means it was continued for the next 30 hours, and it was too much devastating brought by that cyclone. Although wind speeds had reduced somewhat by the next morning, when it was third day and very early in the morning, the speed of the wind got reduced, right? To escape the waters rising in the house, Prashant and his friend's family had taken refuge on the roof. As the water kept on rising and filling into the house, and what was done by Prashant and his friend's family, actually they just went on the roof of the house and took shelter there. Prashant will never forget the shock he experienced at his first glimpse of the devastation wrought by the super cyclone. So it was for the first time for Prashant when he was feeling such terrible experience that he could not forget throughout his life. He never had such experience in his life as he was feeling that very time, and brought by the super cyclone. It was all just because of super cyclone. In the grey light of the early morning, although it was early morning, but nothing could be seen there by the family, by Prashant. So, my dear students, that is enough for the day. I hope you must have understood it. So, read it out once again, try to understand it once again. So, thank you very much. The rest part of this chapter will be taken next time. Thank you so much.